What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here from DataDash, and I hope you guys are having a fantastic day wherever you are, because in today's sponsored review, I want to spend some time to talk about a really interesting emerging layer 1 play in the crypto space that's not only aiming to build a hyper-scalable and low-cost layer 1 chain for everyday users, but along with that as well as bringing about 3 really exciting innovations I haven't seen in the crypto space that I think are going to make big waves when it comes to segments of Web3 like token vesting or bonding, as well as AMMs and liquidity provision, and also as well in the field of liquid staking. We got a lot to unpack here in today's video. I want to talk about the project and some of these ecosystem developments as we go throughout it. If you happen to enjoy it, consider dropping a like and grab a cup of coffee. We got a lot to unpack. So I want to start here by talking about AirDAO. Now, AirDAO is not a brand new project. It's not some heavily VC-owned chain. In fact, it's a very community-oriented project. And beyond that as well, AirDAO has been around the block for some time, making some pivots and changes over the years, but mainly focusing in on becoming a hyper-scalable layer 1 chain that's EVM compatible and has already boasted some serious traction when it comes to the amount of token holders and active monthly users. About 5,000 users on a monthly basis on the chain, as well as millions of transactions that have already gone through. And it's no wonder because of the lightning fast and minimal gas fees that the network can offer, similar to networks like Solana. So I want to go ahead and talk about how, in this case, AirDAO really positions itself to be exciting, because there are a plethora of different layer 1 and layer 2 chains. And while I do believe that AirDAO has the framework to really compete against a lot of these networks, what really makes it stand out at the end of the day is some of the exciting projects that are being built on the network. So I wanted to go ahead and dive through some of these. Now, these are all part of a program, kind of an initial incubation, if you will, of the protocol itself called Starfleet. And Starfleet aims to really bring about these 3 signature applications, not only to build some of the DeFi primitives for the ecosystem, but outside of this world to offer some really interesting features we haven't seen yet. And as many of you know, if you've watched the channel for a long time, you know I'm a DeFi junkie. I really love anything that expands DeFi and the horizons of what we can do within crypto. And Kosmos is no exception to this. This is one of the first few major bond markets I've seen in the crypto sector, and I think that it does something quite interesting for not only a huge component of the crypto sector, which is fundraising and token vesting, but beyond that as well, offers the ability for even traditional finance, kind of institutional grade DeFi, to be able to move into the crypto space. So here's the actual Kosmos UI. These applications are live today. You can take a look at them and you can get a good feel for how this process works. Obviously, you can go and create new bonds, but right now there are some pre-sales here for some of the tokens within the ecosystem, even including the native AirDAO token, AMB. And what's really cool about this is we can click on any of these different types of bonds. And what's nice about it is that you're essentially looking at an early stage token vesting bond. And this allows you to be able, as an everyday participant, to participate in these early stage rounds. So if you think about this from a practical sense, if there are projects being launched within the broader AirDAO ecosystem, they could do a token bond on Kosmos for their project. So it could be your meme coin, it could be something much more fundamental and more valuable like a DAO token or utility token to some kind of project. But essentially, you're getting the ability to purchase this bond or the specific token at a particular price at a certain discount, given the lockup period here over time. So essentially you can, again, go through and specify the amount that you would like to purchase in this case. It's really cool. And I think that this is going to get really interesting when we're talking about opening up the opportunity for everyday people, especially really community ambassadors and not just institutions and VCs and accredited investors, to be able to participate in this process. So this is really exciting stuff. And I think that this is definitely one of the cornerstones of why AirDAO has my interest, because as time progresses, people are getting more and more interested in being able to be participating in these projects earlier on in the process, not waiting till it's listed on Binance, not waiting till it's on Coinbase. And it should be that way. It should be open to the crowd. So I think that that's a very important thing here. Not to mention the potential that this holds for traditional finance as well. Having these kind of bonding or auction structures really is going to allow for some exciting real-world asset applications and traditional capital to move into the market for actual real-world assets. So again, keep that in mind here. I think that that's another really big thing. The other thing they have here is Astra. Now, this is the core automated market maker or decentralized exchange that is offered within the AirDAO ecosystem. Now, beyond being an automated market maker on a very scalable chain, meaning that it's going to allow for low cost and high throughput swaps, allowing you to get confirmation in a relatively short period of time, which is all great. The big thing here that I really like is their focus on providing single-sided liquidity. Now, some of you may already understand what single-sided liquidity provision is, but if you're not aware of this term and you may not even understand what I mean by liquidity provision, I want to take some time to explain it because I really think that this is a pretty big deal in the crypto space in order to expand the amount of liquidity in DeFi long-term. Simply put, if you want to do a swap on Uniswap or SushiSwap or any other decentralized exchange that is an automated market maker, essentially there needs to be people out there who are what's known as liquidity providers, and they're going to put capital into a liquidity pool. Now, in order to do this, they have to have an equitable dollar value of each major crypto. So think like a pair like ETH to USDC. You have a crypto and a stable coin. In order to provide that liquidity, you need an equitable dollar amount in each in order to add liquidity to a pool. And while that's great, and we've been able to see a lot of liquidity flow into the space from that, and there's a way where they can ideally make revenue long-term from it and basically resist facing impermanent loss, the important thing to understand here is that when it comes to single-sided liquidity provision, this allows for a much wider pool of individuals who want to have a direct exposure to one asset and provide liquidity in order to monetize that asset and get some kind of yield. So this is a really big change here in the dynamic of AMMs, and it not only allows for much more liquidity, it allows for a much more streamlined experience for everyday users to become LPs and not have to calculate the risk of impermanent loss. So it's imperative to understand here that that is a huge change, not to mention they are working on peer-to-peer transactions as well, which is a really big innovation as well. And last but not least, I want to spend some time to talk about Harbor, the liquid staking platform launched within the Starfleet program. This serves as a native home for liquid staking for AMB tokens, which are the native tokens for the AirDAO network, and essentially allows you to do similar to other networks, gives you the ability to not only stake your AMB tokens, to be able to get staking yields as you're helping to validate for the network, but beyond that as well, it allows you to have a liquid IOU or claim on that position that you can go out and utilize within the world of DeFi. So this is really something that's quite powerful if you want to go out there and maximize the yield of your underlying position, maybe providing liquidity or engaging in other DeFi related activities, maybe using it as something to essentially borrow liquidity from a lending and borrowing protocol down the line. There's all types of use cases you can use this for. However, the big thing I want you guys to understand here is that essentially HBR, in this case, the token for the Harbor protocol, essentially cannot be earned as a yield element, and it has a key utility which allows you to earn higher yields on your AMB staking, as well as other utilities coming down the line, such as being able to borrow more cost-effective on other ecosystem-based tokens, and so much more. So I think that it's important to understand that here and how these tokens kind of coexist and play a role within the broader ecosystem. At the end of the day, though, we've got 3 really interesting protocols launching within this program. We've got more ecosystem development than we had back a couple months ago, multiple thousands of monthly active users. There's even a native meme coin launched in the ecosystem as well. But above all, you're seeing a lot of really positive momentum here for AirDAO over these past few months. Now, there are a couple things that I recommend you guys keep on your radar if you're interested to learn more about the project, learn how you can get involved in the project as well, and just overall get a better feeling for what AirDAO is trying to build. Essentially, if you're interested to learn about what the project has in the pipeline, you can obviously check out the 2024 roadmap. This is one of the most detailed and intrinsic roadmaps I've seen personally, especially laying out here for the year and the things that they've already accomplished, but a lot of that as well in the different subcategories of crypto. So if you're interested in any particular segment or any particular feature sets and want to see what the team is planning to build, you can obviously dive into that. Outside of that as well, there's the bridge. So if you want to try out the network, you can obviously try sourcing from a variety of networks that are acceptable in the bridge, like Ethereum or other EVM compatible chains, and be able to bridge those assets over into the AirDAO ecosystem. And along with that as well, if you're interested in launching your own project, if you have some Solidity experience under your belt or you're forming a team and you're trying to consider where you can really have the home of that decentralized application, where do you want to launch it first, it may be something you might want to consider when it comes to the AirDAO grant program and seeing whether or not AirDAO might be a home for your application in case you want to build. Again, it's a very community-oriented project. They've been around the block for a long time. They're aiming to build something that's a grassroots effort that will last for the long run. And beyond that as well, of course, you can always check out the AirDAO Explorer, which will allow you to explore a lot of different applications and also transactions on chain. But overall, AirDAO so far for the past year has actually really held up quite well during this bear market period. as with most altcoins, we haven't really seen a big pop off just yet. Bitcoin's starting to gain traction. So I definitely would keep AirDAO on your radar. At the end of the day, guys, you got to do your own due diligence when it comes to the project. But for me, I like seeing overall that this has been pretty much flat since back in July. We're not seeing a lot of pain and bloodbath in this area of L1s. And AirDAO has really been maintaining a strong, persistent position here during that window of time. So I like seeing that here. I love seeing the growth in ecosystem development, the range of infrastructure plays being built within AirDAO. And I think overall that there's definitely going to be room for more L1s as we emerge higher and higher in this cycle. So keep an eye here for AirDAO being one of those potential plays. And if you enjoyed the review, guys, consider dropping a like. It's a great way to support the channel. But until next time, I hope you guys have a fantastic day wherever you are, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.